Hey guys, it's Mike here and I'm back with another video. In this time we will be installing our HTML markup with CSS. So without any further say, let's go back into our code editor and let's begin installing. So first, here is our markup. As we know, we will be installing it and we will be overwriting the CSS provided by Bootstrap. So in order to make this easier, we need to inspect the certain element. So using Google Chrome, you can just right click and inspect element. So as you can see on this side, that this with a class of button primary btn/primary, it has a background color, it has a CSS free gradient. So by just copying this, Control C and Control V to that one, we can overwrite it. For example, background red. Now the button is color red. So for hover states, you can actually copy this and paste it here. So for example, background yellow. So if you're going to hover it, the background will change. So that's it on how to do it, and it's very quick and easy. So let's get started. Let's start with the hero unit, or this section right here. So let's take a look at our markup, or our design. As you can see that this header right here and here, we don't need to have that space right here because this is the height of the header, or this nav bar. So we're going to remove the exceed padding here. So inspect element, so section class hero unit. As you can see, there is a padding of 60 pixels. If we're going to put it 0, everything will flush to the top. So by doing so, first is .hero unit, padding 0, and that will fix our spacing right there. And as you can see on the image, is really on the bottom part. So for this nav bar, what you can actually do is on this container nav bar, there is a margin bottom, and here we actually have a margin, but it's more than that, about 60. But we will not do it for the meantime. We will be changing the styles of this one right here. So for nav bar, going to inspect element, see this nav bar inner, they had a mean height of 40 pixels, and the padding left, there is a padding, and here we don't have. So what we can do is to copy this one, place it right here, change the padding to 0, padding left 0, padding right 0, and mean height will be the height of this one. The height for this one is 100, so we're going to make it 100 pixels. So as you can see, it has already 100 pixels. What we can do is to remove the styling of this navbar inner. As you can see, there is a background. So what you can do is background to transparent, and there is a box shadow of this one. We can remove it by doing box shadow none, or I mean 0. Let's see if there is a back shadow on nav inner. Background, border, WebKit, border radius, border, box shadow. Let's see. So border none, box shadow to 0. The box shadow is still there. Let's try box shadow none. Oh, so box shadow none will fix that. And then let's take care of the logo. So here, so just right click, inspect element, and the selection will be navbar.brand. So navbar.brand, if you can, we can still look here. So navbar, inside that navbar, targeting the brand. So we can do this. First we need to text indent the text, and then we're going to add that image. Background image, URL image, and brand.png. Make sure it is no repeat. Let's take a look at it, and we will need to put the dimension. So open, dip, image, brand, Control Alt I to see the image size, 127 by 50 pixels. So height will be 57 pixels, width will be 127 pixels, and the logo now is in place. Next is the navigation. So for the active state, for that navigation, and for the links, we can actually do what did I do? So inspect element, copy this. So the navbar dot nav li and a. So what we can do here is to check the size for this one. And actually we can bold this to make it more noticeable. So we just do it on the CSS. So font weight, bold, font size 14 pixels. And then for the active state, navbar.active, let's remove the box shadow to none, because as I can see there is a box shadow happening. The background to, first Then the background will be the same as this one. So the black fill color with 70% fill. So it's easy. Background RGBA 000, and the last value will be the opacity. So 0.7. Let's see. It's great. And there is a text shadow happening on the anchor tag. So text shadow to 0. Why is it I'm always using 0? That will be none. And for the active state, the color will be white. Or actually everything will be white, because we will be adding background. So for that hero unit, can actually do is to add that background. URL. Since we will not be using any JavaScript, I will prefer to make it as a background. If we're going to make this as a slider where we can navigate through left and right, we can place this in a carousel, everything of this one, and we can navigate it. So, but for now, we'll just be focusing on the styling and the alignment and the overall layout. So URL, what will be the URL? Image. So we called it hero unit. So hero unit.png. Make sure no repeat. No repeat. And the background position will be 50% to the left and on the top. So 50% top. Let's see. Did we do it right? Background URL. I think it's JPEG. Yeah. Rename. It should be hero unit. JPG. Okay, that's good. And I want this to the background, when we zoom out, there will be a darker color. So we can add 2222, and that will be look good. For brand and for the brand, we can actually do this line height 100 pixels. Let's see, because our min height is 100 for nav inner, or we can just do it something like this. Wait, for the nav inner, yep, that's it, nav inner. And for the nav bar, nav inner, nav bar. Brand, see, margin 0. And for the nav bar, copy that. You can add a border bottom, 1 pixel solid RGBA. This time will be white one, because right here we created a line and it's a white one with 20% of fill. So 20, I mean 0.2 will fix it. Then for the navigation, we can start working on that one. So nav A, hover, let's see, inspect element, hover, so place it right here and make the hover state to color just white. Or we can do is color RGBA 255 255 0.8 will do. Just a little hover state, or 0.7 will do. Okay, that's good. And for this one, we can add a radius, border radius. So WebKit border radius to 3 pixels, Moz border radius 3 pixels, border radius 3 pixels, as you can see. And for the padding, let's see what are the padding for this one. They have a padding of 10 pixels. We can decrease the padding to this one, 4 pixels and 10 pixels, 20 pixels, or maybe 3 pixels will do. That's good. Everything is good on this part. Now we can place this on the center. What we can actually do is like this one. On the nav bar, we don't have any padding. I mean, on the nav bar inner, the min height, we've set it to 100 pixels. What we can actually do is like this. We can adjust the padding to 40 pixels 0. And why is it that the line height is still there? Let's see what's happening. For the nav bar, we need to let's see, decrease that. Oh, I think we just need a margin top for this one. Just place the margin onto the nav bar. Margin top, maybe about 30 pixels. And that will fix that thing. And for the UL, since it is pulled to the right, we can actually this one padding to 0 or margin 0. I hope it will fix that one. Looks good for me. And for the image, yep, it's good. And then for this one, we will be resizing the size equal to this one, 48. So on hero unit, just right below it, the nav bar, make sure to end this. And nav bar, this is text, or I mean hero unit text begin. Just make that end, make this end. And for the text will be hero unit inner. So hero unit inner, copy that one, and we can change it. So hero unit h1, hero unit inner h1 will have the font size of a 48 pixels, color will be white, and text shadow, let's see, 131 pixels and 30%. So 0, 1 pixels, 0, RGBA, 0, 0, 0.3. You can see right there. And then for H4, color will be this one, color, and text shadow is the same. Looks good. And what we can actually do for all the headings, since it is Museo, let's go back on the very top, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. The font family will be Museo. The other serif that is closer to Museo, which is a web safe font, is Rockwell and serif. So for Museo, since we have the font installed into our system, we can do it. Let's copy the Museo computer. Go ahead and go to fonts, and find Museo. Since we'll be using Museo 700, copy this one, create a new folder right here, name fonts, place the Museo, change the name to regular, Museo 700, and then we can use the font face. At font face, font family will be Museo, and then the path for this one is URL, the fonts we've created, close this with this quotation, whatever you call this one, quote, then font, the name of the font, Museo 700, and the extension is OTF. See that OTF space format, quote again, and then the format will be true type. Let's see if it's working. Museo can enclose this to that one like that. So Museo, as you can see, it is working. Every headings has this font. Actually, what we can do there is active color white. So it's great to see it, the active state now. And for the body, let's see, font sizes will be 14 pixels. Okay, so the font family for this one is Helvetica, Arial, Sans Serif. Font size 14 pixels. Let's see the line height, if the same. Let's try line height 1.5 ems. It's fine. Maybe we don't need that one. And then for the headings, for the overall headings, the color is this one. So right here, color will be 3333. So it is right. And for the links, let's do this. The link color is this one. Color. And for the link hover, and focus will be a darker shade of this one. Let's see it. Text decoration will be none. Okay, it's looking good. Looks good. Or what we can do is add a border bottom 1 pixel solid, and something like DDDD will do. Let's take a look at it. It's looking good, looking fine. What we can actually do for that one, let's find portfolio. This is strong because, as you can see, it's strong, but the other font is normal, so it's great. Let's see. For the link on the hero unit section, so this hero unit inner A, color white. Okay, that's good. And for the button primary on the other buttons, for the normal buttons, let's do that. For the button, normal button, we need to have a border radius the same as this one. So let's just copy this. Then the background, let's change it to this one, and the color will be white. Text shadow will be none. Let's see. Okay, it's looking good, and we can, there is a border happening there. Let's see here. So box shadow, none. And for the border, 1 pixel solid, or I mean inner glow, RGBA 20 pixels, RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.2. Let's see, that's good. And for the box shadow, what we can do is box shadow inset 0, 1 pixels, 0, RGBA, the white version, and the opacity will be 15, or we can just make it 0.2. If that will work, let's see it. Looking good, working fine. That's great. Or 0.1. Yep, 0.2 is good. And then for the text size, that will be 12 pixels. Font size, text shadow, color, and font size 12 pixels. Font weight, bold. And for the hover state, button, something like, let's see, inspect element, button hover, button focus, so button here. So hero unit, So for the button hover, button focus, the background for this, we'll just make this darker, something like that. Background. Color the same, border the same. Looking good, looking great. For this is looking great, the button is looking great. What we can do there on this part, on get started, can copy this color, and the get started has this button primary. So on this part, dot hero unit inner, the button primary will have a background of that one, border none. Let's see, get it right? Yep. And then box shadow will be the drop shadow of this one. Drop shadow is 30, and then the distance is 2, size is 1. So 0, 1 pixels. The spread I mean is, oh, the distance is 2, the spread is 1. So the distance is 2, the spread is 1 pixels. Then RGBA 0, 0. The opacity is 30, so 0.3. Let's refresh, and we got it right. Oh yes. And for the text, let's change that to font size 16 pixels, font weight bold. Oh yes. And text shadow none, just to make sure. So, and then there is a margin, and for the font size of this one is still 16, and there is a margin for that one. Border bottom 1 pixel solid, or what you can do, yeah, the same as to the hover. So that looks good. And for the margin left, let's try maybe 5 pixels or more, 10. Or we can actually measure it here, about 20. So without this, there is still a margin about 5. So perfect margin for this is 15 pixels. Looks good. And for the margin from this, oh, why is it that there is a hover for the brand? Border bottom none. Okay, fix. Did I? A focus, a hover. Why? So we're going to reset everything. Border, bottom, none. Okay. And for this, working. Okay, so from this one we have a 60 pixels. You can see right here 59 to 60 pixels of margin, and here we have about, don't know, maybe 30. We just need to add 30. So on the heading here, we can do is margin top 30 pixels. That's good. And for this one, and another on the bottom, margin bottom, another 30 pixels. We can make this 60 pixels. Is that 60 for you? Just maybe 50. And for decrease it to 20. And for that one, we will have another 40 pixels. We have about 10 now. So for H4, margin bottom 30 pixels. Hope that will work. And for this one, before that image, so let's target the anchor tags. So inner A, margin bottom, let's make it 40 pixels as well, but it's margin bottom. I think it's not right to do that, but instead that hero unit inner image margin top 40 pixels. Or let's try 30 pixels. That looks good for me. And you can see on the hero unit there is a WebKit border radius. So what we can do is border radius to 0. Now it's fixed. Let's try another one. What else? We can see that it is wrong. So the header is in shape, in right format, in right placement. Maybe we can increase, or let's leave it that way. Let's proceed into this one. This section right here for the hero unit, for the process. So for the process, let's add process, and let's end that. Process has a background of EEEE, so process process background EEE, And let's try border bottom, because as far as I remember, we added a border and it has a color of DDDD. Think that hero unit has a margin bottom. Yep, we're going to reset it. So hero, my hero unit, border bottom 0. I mean, no. Why is it I place border bottom? Margin instead, bottom 0. Okay, it's great. And then we're going to add this border right here. If you can remember, we added a white border. So on the process, border top 1 pixel solid white. And then we can apply a box shadow so that right here we have that one. So it's easy, just box shadow 0. The position will be -2 pixels, and for the spread, let's see, where did I place this? Maybe let's try something 3 pixels. And for the color, just RGBA black again, and let's say about 0.3. Let's try it. It's applying, but this image is covering that one. So let's increase this to about 3 pixels, and let's make this 5. Something like that. It looks good for me. And we can position this as relative and bring the Z index to 10. Ta-da! It's now there. As you can see, it's almost the same. And what else we can do is add a padding on this. So padding 60 pixels, 0 will do. And let's add that icon here. So to do that, it's very simple. As you can see that each icon has this class of process icon, and for each icon they have different one. I plan, I design, then I develop, I launch. So the first one is to style the process icon. If you can remember, the width and height is 100, so set the width 100 pixels, height 100 pixels, and display this as inline block. And then we need to add the background. Let's see right here that the background for this one is process sprite. So transparent URL image process sprite .png no repeat, and the background position for this one, position is top left top. So starting from left, we can adjust it on each icon. So for iDesign, so the first one is plan. So I plan. So process icon that I plan. The background position is top left, or we can do it 0, or we can remove this, because for the first one the process icon has this one. So if we're going to see it here, they will have the same. So what we can do is we can proceed directly to iDesign and make the background position left, change it to -100 pixels to change that. See, you can do it the same on the other two. iDesign, I develop, and I launch. 100, 200, 300. Boom, it's there. It's looking good, it's in place. What we can do now is just add a bit of margin. For now it has about 10 pixels, so we're going to add this one, margin bottom, maybe 15 pixels. And for design, develop, let's see, has more margin compared to that one, and everything has that one. So what we can actually do is, for the headings, let's see where it start. Here we will add a class of heading. Do it on every heading that we've created. One for portfolio, other is on testimonial section, widgets, testimonials, latest post or latest tweets, and we can create here dot heading, that every heading has a margin of 30 pixels or 20, margin bottom 20 pixels. Let's see if it changes. Yep, I think that is good. And for the button, what we can do is to do this one. On every button, it will have a margin top of 30 pixels. Or let's say 20 pixels. That's good. As you can see, it applies also to that primary. So what we can do, let's go back into the hero unit and button primary, margin top is 0. Ta-dang! It's good. Let's see what else we can do on this area. So we're going to add, oh, we actually have this one, so we forgot to import this one, export. So what we can do now is to cut this out, copy, merge, place that on a new file, paste it, save it as JPEG, save that one, and name this, let's see, H line, horizontal line. Okay, now that we have that one on the process, we can actually have it on the process section, which is right here, process. Let's see what we can do. I think we need to wrap it in a div with a class of hLine, the same as what we name it. And then we need to style this to make it position the same as this one. Let's see the design, close that out. The center to the icons. Since that our process has a position relative, we can position this absolutely. So I get it, so just leave a space there and NBSP, and here H, or on the top, you can actually do it on the bottom, H line. H line. If we measure this, the height of this one is 5 pixels. So height is 5 pixels. Actually do it. The max height is 5 pixels. The background is image URL. Image hline dot jpg repeat x to repeat it. And then what we can do now is see the rounded corner here. So WebKit border, just copy the border radius. I'm tired of typing now. Just copy this one, paste it here. Let's see. Okay, we have it now on place. We need to do now is play with the positioning. So make this position absolutely. Since that this is the parent container, this one will go on that one. So top 0. Where is that one? Maybe position absolute. Can't find it. Where did it go? Let's try. Z index. Oh, actually we have a Z index 10. We can actually, if we'll make this 11, let's see if it's shown. Oh, come on, where are you? Z index 100. Oopsie, where are you? I can see it. So, okay. with position absolute, you are hiding. But if I'm going to position you relatively, are you be showing? Yup. And I'm going to position you bottom, or maybe top 50 pixels. Okay. And then the Z index for this one is 9. Nothing happening. 1. Nothing happening. 2. 0. -1. Oh, that's great. It's working, baby. So let's play a bit more. About 55. Okay, that's good. Looks fine, in place, perfect. So position relative, the top will be 55 since we have a 5 pixel height, and this right here is 100 pixels of height. So that makes sense. It's good. It's good. It's good. So on portfolio part, let's proceed. So portfolio part, the same as this one. 60 pixels. Just copy this. Make this portfolio. The portfolio will be padding 60 pixels 0. Okay, that's good. And for this one, first web designer has this right here, and I'm wondering why is it not in the same as this one. So as far as I remember, we have, see, portfolio. We have this category and H5. So what we can do is have a class of portfolio heading, or we can actually do it as title. Or is that one title? The other title, let's say that. And then here, the title, margin bottom 0. See, it decreases the margin bottom. Without margin has more space. Without, and with margin bottom 0, it's in place. And the dot category will have a color of 999, and the font size is 12. Font size 12 pixels. Color 9999. Looks great. And for this one, so that's basically it for this part. On this part, the partner section, you can do it like that. Copy that one. Partners, portfolio. Scroll down to partners. the same as what we did, padding 60 pixels 0 to have more space, and we have this one. Or we can apply it on border, or we can do it here, border bottom 1 pixels solid DDDD. Yep, that's great. And for the footer or the widgets area, widgets, area, we need to do the same. Padding will be, so for now let's decrease it to 50 pixels because it has this space there. So 50 pixels 0, 60 pixels 0. So top 50 pixels, 60 pixels on the bottom. Let's see, and let's add this border bottom again. It's looking great. And for the testimonials part, you can see that testimonials block code. So for this one, widgets, the testimonials block code, we will need to overflow hidden, apply this to make it straight, and the text will not overflow here since this here is floated to the left. And we can remove the border none, and change the font size and text to 14. So before that, it's on the paragraph, font family to Georgia serif, font style italic, color will be 7070, color, let's see, I think every color is 7070. Did I done it right? Every color will be 7070. Font size, font size is 14 pixels. Then margin bottom 20 pixels. The site will be, where is that site? Can add a strong. So for this site, block code site, the color will be red. So this one, color, no, I mean the color of this site is gray, that one. And then we can remove as well the bullets. So on blog lists, list style none, padding 0, let's see, margin 0. Okay, that's fixed it. And for the post, h5 margin bottom, maybe just 15 pixels will do, or actually you can zero out it. Maybe just 5 pixels to make it fair. 0. And in every list, li will have a padding of, let's see, 20. So for now, let's just add border bottom 1 pixel solid DDDD. Let's see. Okay, it has it. And padding 15 pixels on top and bottom. Okay, that's not good. Maybe we will decrease it to the h5. The padding of this one is 0. And maybe some margin will be 0. Okay, that's good. And increase, I mean, to 20 pixels. And for the first child, this is a selector for this one, for the first list item. You can actually recolor the link. H5A color will be that's good. And for the hover, just a hover, just decrease it to 6666 or maybe 444, just a little bit of hover state. That's good. And for the first child, padding top will 0. And for the last child, margin, border bottom 0. So as you can see, it is correct without margin on the last list and without padding on the first one. Do the same as well on this part, the tweets list. So tweet list. So that tweet list, padding, or we can just copy it, something like that. Let's make the image pool class pull left, class pull left, class pull left. So every image is pulled to the left, and we can actually do is add a class of clearfix. Let's see, not for this time. but in this part, class clear fix. That will fix the issue. If you want to know more about ClearFix, I've discussed it on the beginner's tutorial. It's basically clearing the elements inside. Since it's floated to the left, the parent container, which is the li, don't know what is the exact height of this one, so that's why it flash out on the spacing here. So that's it, but for more information, just go ahead and go visit and watch the tutorial about it for the basic one. So yeah, so let's continue. So let's do the same. What we can do now is we can just go here, maybe this one, dot tweet list li, and this one just change it to tweet list, the same as here, tweet list, and we have the same stalling. And for the image and for the li, the tweet list image, li image, have a margin right 20 pixels. Okay, that looks good. And lastly, we'll need to do this, the footer part. So the footer have this one, nav with a class of table. So first one, we need to style the footer links. So dot footer links list style none. Did I do it right? List style none, and then the font size for every link is this 6666. So that footer links lia, color, font size 12 pixels, and it's floated to the left right here, and it has a margin right of 20 pixels. This is actually not 20, it's about 40. Let's make it 40. So here's what I'm talking, and how to center an ordered list on this parent div. I learned this from Orman Clark on CSS tricks to wrap this on another div or this nav tag. And what we can actually do now is to let's style first the let's see, let's style first what is other is remaining. Okay, so this, we also need an ID for this social, so that for the social, we can clear both so that it will be on the center. And then for this one, we need to display this one, this nav with a class of table. Let's put it here. Let's make it display table. And then we're going to set a margin 0 auto. As you can see, it fixed the issue. Without this display table, it will just be still on the left side. With that display table, that will solve the issue. And we can add footer padding. 60 pixels again will do, to have a spacing. Yep, we're right, 60 pixels. And for the Twitter and Facebook, so Twitter social.twitter.facebook. Background for this one will be this. Background for Facebook will be this one. And for the hover or maybe focus, let's just make it darker, something here. So background. And for Facebook, Twitter, let's do the same, something like that. Nope. Twitter. And let's add a spacing, maybe margin left 5 pixels. Right, and for the social, margin bottom, let's measure this out, about 40 pixels will do, or maybe just 30. And dip can actually do for this, can wrap it is strong tag, so dip 2013. And for the remaining icons, so button to social sprite, so social sprite, as far as I can remember, the social sprite has a width of 16 by 16 each icon. Process significance each line. Whoops, did we save it? Image. Oh, we save it on different one. See, 16. So width 16 pixels, height 16 pixels, the same as to the one we did. Display this to inline, block. Oh, I forget. I didn't mean Orman Clark. It's from Chris Coyer on CSS Tricks, where I learned about the CSS. So I apologize to Chris Coyer. Basically, Orman Clark is the designer, which is really good. You can see his freebies on I think Premium Pixels, and he has this website, newly launched website for designers. It called dunk.com. So I apologize. So yep, let's continue. So with inline block, and then the background is URL. So transparent URL image social sprite.png, no repeat, background position left top, and for .facebook, just background position left negative 16 pixels top. Ta-dang! So yep, that's it. We'll zoom this out about 50%. Looks good. And as you notice, even we didn't care of the responsive part, it's a little bit responsive, and we just need to fix minor issues. A little fix for the responsive part. For the responsive part, let's take care of the navigation. Yeah, but everything looks good, because on Twitter Bootstrap they didn't count it on pixels. They counted it in each column by percentage. Let's see, and let's try to validate this. So google.com, so validate CSS. So let's try to upload the file. Let's go to div, go to CSS, no, not Bootstrap, but style.css, and then let's check if we passed. Whoa, validator result for style CSS level 3. This shows blah blah blah, we've passed. So there is only warnings for the WebKit extensions. So, but as we know, most of the browsers now is supported, so we will not care about it. And let's take a look at it for Mozilla Firefox. Let's just copy this URL. It still looks good in Firefox. Let's try Internet Explorer. So I have IE6 here, but this is the very old version. So see, I don't care about, maybe on Internet Explorer 8 this will looks good, but for this one I think it's horrible. Let's see. Didn't even load. While waiting for that one, let's try to validate our HTML. So Let's try HTML maybe. HTML validator. Validate file upload index checked. Passed. So this was successfully checked as HTML5 one warning. So what is the warning? Not sure about that. But yeah, we just converted our layout into a static one. So maybe on the next tutorial we will be taking care of the responsive part. And if you requested to make this moving as a working carousel, we can do it as well. And for the testimonial parts, maybe this will rotate, and we can do this here as a carousel, or maybe, I don't know, here or here. So let's see what I can do for you guys, and I hope you learned something from this tutorial. It's easy to follow. All you need to do is to have a basic knowledge of CSS and HTML in order to build this one. And if you have something, suggestions or tutorial requests regarding to Twitter Bootstrap, feel free to post it down below. And I'll see you guys on the next video.